Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to kill.
Any real dude that's ever really been in LA, he checked in. Any real dude that's ever been in Atlanta, he checked in. If you moving and you getting money, you gonna check in because you need to know the right places to be and places not to be. That's a businessman.
You think niggas wake up and just choose Boosie to steal from? You don't think there's better people to steal from? Like, it's not fucking happening. Boosie is not a victim, dog. Like, that nigga ain't no... Boosie is a fucking villain.
After he did what he did, she said, I know he wrong for forging your name and taking that money. You dropped the lawsuit. I don't want to see my baby go.
Hell no. Mama, you got me
Family will hurt you more than a best friend, bro. Mm-hmm. A best friend will be more loyal to you than family. That's why you can talk to your best friend about certain stuff before you can talk to family. Because you know in your heart that they will cutthroat you.
Taquari Hatch is finally stepping out of the shadows, and he's not holding back. For the first time, he's speaking on what really went down with Duke the Jeweler. And according to him, the betrayal cut.
Boosie got diabetes. None of my aunts and uncles got diabetes. Boosie got diabetes because he was drinking lean. That's why he has diabetes, because he was going hard on lean, just like a whole lot of other rappers at a very young age. So he got fucking diabetes in his 20s. That is self-inflicted. Okay? Yeah. Him beating the murder charge. Nigga, that's self-inflicted. Right? When it comes to him beating cancer. Boosie got cancer because
saying he put himself in that situation.
Mojo. He was smoking Mojo in prison because he couldn't smoke weed. And
what's Mojo?
Synthetic fucking
that
weed.
Shit they call, what's that shit
is nothing but chemicals.
Yeah.
So
is that K2?
K2 type
So
shit.
of course they end up finding early signs of cancer. So what I'm saying is, man,
all his shit been self-inflicted. The people feel sorry for him.
In any situation, before you take a side, hear both sides of the story. Because if this is true, Boosie is manipulative and full of shit. What y'all think?
Deeper than anyone expected. He says his own brother allegedly played a role in the setup. But Taquari isn't just telling stories. He's putting evidence on the table. Real receipts. Real details. Things that can't just be brushed off or ignored. This isn't gossip, it's testimony. And it's rocking the streets with questions nobody's ready to answer. The weight of these claims? Heavy. So heavy that Bowie himself had no choice but to step in and defend his name. What started as whispers is...
Man,
now turned into full-blown chaos. Taquari Hatch, Duke the Jeweler's tragic death, and Boosie's camp all tangled in a storm of questions. Now, the streets are buzzing. Is Boosie's crew really as clean as they say they are? Or is there more hiding under the surface? Duke's life was cut short in Houston, right after a dice game.
Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up, man. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to rob him and killed the dude. What the hell my 19-year-old cousin gonna try to rob and kill somebody? Bro, we getting money, man. We getting fucking money. That ain't our stilo. As a boss, I ain't letting that go down like that, man. This dude finna make me a piece. So y'all need to kill that. That's bad low, man. Don't put us in nothing with no bad low. It's bad low, man. This shit bad low, man. Straight up, the shit bad low. Kill it.
Where word is he walked away with a serious bag. And the twist? Just hours before that tragedy, Duke was spotted chilling with Boosie. Not only that, Duke himself posted up a picture with Boosie on his Instagram, a snapshot of trust, hanging in the digital air right before everything went left. That post? Tragically, it turned out to be one of Duke's very last. And this is where the story takes a messy turn. Boozy, caught in the middle of the storm, is out here claiming he barely even knew Duke. According to him, there was no bond, no close connection, just a chance encounter. Boozy says Duke randomly popped up at one of the shows, hung around for a bit, and then went his own way. No strings attached. No ties deeper than a handshake and a night out. And in fact, Boozy doubled down in front of the cameras, telling everyone flat out, "I had just met Dude yesterday," which tragically ended up being one of Duke's final posts. But here's where it gets messy. Boozy is out here claiming he barely knew Duke. He told the world that Duke just showed up at one of his shows, hung around, and then rolled off on his own. He even doubled down saying, "I had just met Dude yesterday." Later, Boozy sat down with Vlad TV to clear the air, insisting he had nothing to do with Duke's death. According to him, they only crossed paths at the dice game, chopped it up briefly, and that was it. He admitted the whole thing shook him, even saying that if timing had been just a little different, it could have been him lying in that parking lot. Boozy swears Duke walked off solo after the game, headed to his car, and that's when the tragedy went down. He maintains he wasn't anywhere near the scene, and that his squad doesn't move grimy. In his words, they're too well off to plot on someone just for hitting a lucky streak at a dice table. But let's keep it real. Folks online aren't buying it. They're side-eyeing every word, saying Boozy might be trying a little too hard to sound clean. Because if there's one thing the streets know, it's that the streets don't lie. The fact that Duke was seen with Boozy right before his death, that's not just coincidence. That's a red flag. And Boozy knows it. That's why he's doubling down, trying to convince everyone these rumors don't match his character. But when someone has to keep repeating they're innocent, it usually makes people look twice. That one interview had folks questioning his credibility, and the more he explained, the shakier it all sounded. Boozy's crew isn't known for making random moves unless something's really on the line. He even bragged his people are financially set, too well off to rob or hurt anyone. But if that's true, then why does this entire situation feel like there's way more to the story than what's being told? That's when things get even messier. Enter Taquari Hatch, Boozy's own brother, who's been calling him out for family beef in the past. He's aired out claims of favoritism, shady business, and even fraud. Now, Taquari is saying he's got receipts that prove Duke was set up. He didn't mince words either, saying flat out that Boozy isn't a victim. He's a villain. But that raises the burning question. Why would Taquari be so quick to throw his own brother under the bus? Some people believe it's because Boozy's name is way more wrapped up in this than he's letting on. And whatever truth is hiding here, it's buried deep under layers of family drama and street politics. So let's rewind. Duke the jeweler, a respected name out of Chicago, pulled up to Houston for Labor Day weekend in 2022. Word is he came down specifically to do business with Boozy, bringing over $1 million in jewelry and cash. That same day, Duke was spotted at a celebrity boxing match, then later at a private dice game where Boozy and others were hanging out. Boozy admitted Duke went hard at the table, gambling heavy all night, but claims Duke never actually won. He swore Duke wasn't pressed about losing either, saying Duke stayed cool even after dropping nearly everything he had on him. But if money wasn't an issue, then why did Duke end up dead just hours later? Not long after their first meeting, Boozy even asked Duke to design a diamond chain for him, and Duke agreed. He promised to ice him out with a one-of-a-kind piece that would stand apart from anything else in the streets. But just one day later, tragedy struck. After Boozy's concert, Duke headed out solo toward his car. Witnesses say 2 men jumped out of a black GMC, ran straight up on him, fired shots, and snatched his jewelry and bag before speeding off. It didn't look random. It looked planned. Too clean, too precise. Yet Boozy has stuck to his story from day one. He says Duke left alone, and someone else must have been watching, waiting for the perfect chance to move. Now, with the Fed stepping in, the case has only gotten hotter. Investigators are digging into who exactly was in that room and whether this was part of a bigger setup. But so far, there are no charges, no suspects, and no recovered valuables. Meanwhile, Boozy keeps talking, but nothing he says is clearing the fog. Suspicion grew even stronger when police pulled him over just hours after Duke's death. On paper, it was just a routine stop. But the timing was way too close for comfort, and the internet wasted no time connecting the dots. And then came the bombshells. Reports surfaced that Duke's Louis Vuitton bag, filled with jewelry, turned up inside Boosie's house. Not in storage, not with a friend, in his house. Allegedly, Duke had asked Boosie to hold it during the dice game. But after Duke was killed, that bag never made it back to his family. To make it worse, Duke's phone vanished too. But phones don't just disappear. The feds tracked it and found its last ping at Boosie's own recording studio before going dark. Unless that phone grew legs, somebody from Boosie's circle had it. Then came the knockout punch. When investigators searched Duke's rental truck, they found Boosie's own nephew's fingerprint inside. That's blood family tied directly to the scene. And as if that wasn't enough, word spread that Boosie's little cousin was also caught up in the mix. 2 family members, directly linked by evidence. Not rumor, not gossip, hard forensic proof. Add in Taquari's accusations and the feds circling, and suddenly what looked like family drama now feels like a crime story unfolding in real time. They're starting to sound like truth bombs exploding right in Boosie's backyard. An eyewitness claimed they saw Duke leaving Boosie's spot, and at first everything looked normal. Duke was calm, moving like it was just business as usual. But then things turned eerie. Boosie's nephew didn't walk out through the front door. Instead, he slid out from the side, almost like he'd been waiting there the whole time. To a lot of people, that looked less like coincidence and more like the clearest sign of a setup. According to both federal reports and street chatter, Duke wasn't caught completely slipping. Word is he tried to swing first, but it was already too late. Boosie's nephew allegedly pulled the strap and let off shots. Just like that, Duke's life was cut short. This didn't feel like a robbery gone wrong or some spur-of-the-moment beef. It looked personal, calculated, planned down to the last detail. And here's where the feds started clamping down even harder. Duke's jewelry didn't vanish into the streets. It stayed in the circle. Reports say Boosie's cousin kept it. Whether that was robbery or just refusal to return it doesn't even matter. The fact that the jewels stayed with family paints an ugly picture all on its own. Now, we can't even break this all down without mentioning Taquari Hatch, Boosie's brother. These two haven't spoken in years, and this isn't some little sibling squabble. It's full-blown war, lawsuits, fraud accusations, and over $360,000 allegedly snatched straight from Boosie's account. According to court documents, Boosie's accused Taquari of forging his signature and even helping his artist Young Blue sign a deal behind his back. That's not just shady, that's betrayal. Of course, Taquari denies it all, claiming Boosie is just paranoid. But Boosie's made it clear he doesn't even consider Taquari or his side of the family blood anymore. And the feud runs deeper than money. Boosie has admitted that what cuts the deepest is how his own mother has always taken Taquari's side. He feels like he's been fighting for scraps of respect his entire life, while Taquari played the role of golden child. Now, with Duke's death hanging over all of this, the family drama looks uglier than ever. From the outside, it's heartbreaking. Nobody wants to see two brothers dragging their family through the mud for the world to pick apart. But let's keep it real. $360,000 in alleged forgery isn't something you just sweep under the rug at Thanksgiving dinner. Boosie's made it clear there's no reconciliation. The lawsuits are moving, the wounds are wide open, and the betrayal feels permanent. But here's the twist. While Boosie fights battles inside his own family, he still hasn't shaken suspicion in Duke the jeweler's death. And he's not the only name floating around. Jay Prince is in the conversation too. And the streets are demanding answers. If you pull up to Houston, you're expected to check in. That's the unwritten rule. And if Duke did check in properly but still ended up dead, that raises a bigger problem. Did someone give the green light? People remember clear as day. Duke was gambling with Boosie and Jay Prince Jr. just hours before his death. That detail alone had folks convinced this wasn't random. Jay Prince quickly clapped back, denying the rumors and calling out media for painting him as a villain. He said flat out, he's not extorting anyone, and check-in isn't about robbing artists. His son Jay Prince Jr. doubled down, insisting Duke's death had nothing to do with setups, dice games, or mob ties. Legally, the Princes are clean. No charges, no suspects, no evidence. But let's be real. This isn't about police reports. It's about perception. When your name carries that much weight, people assume you either control the city or at least know what's happening in it. That's why every tragedy in Houston gets tied back to Jay Prince, whether he's guilty or not. Charleston White took it even further. He called Duke's death another sad example of how the industry sets its own people up to fail. He pointed fingers at mob ties, accusing them of luring rappers into rigged dice games and disguising extortion as protection. In his words, Duke didn't walk into safety. He walked into a setup. And Charleston's been loud about it ever since. So the question remains, was Duke the jeweler's death a tragic coincidence, or was he another victim of a dirty game dressed up as respect? Right now, all we've got is speculation, street whispers, and questions the feds are still digging into. But one thing is certain. The eyes of the streets, the blogs, and the fans are all locked in, waiting to see if Boosie and Jay Prince stay untouchable, or the truth finally blows the whole thing wide open.